Es que me la da, voy a ver mover, es que me la da, voy a ver mover, es que me la da, voy a ver mover, es que me la da, voy a ver mover.
Really, y'all don't know this, y'all in danger, I'm a threat. I'm a gamble with your life, cause you know that it's a bet. You know I ain't letting up, my foot is on your neck. Take my word for it, it's a promise and a threat. Really, y'all don't know this, y'all in danger, I'm a threat. I'm a gamble with your life, cause you know that it's a bet. You know I ain't letting up, my foot is on your neck. Take my word for it, it's a promise and a threat.
Oh, what's up, YouTube? It is your guy, Hector, host of the Yankees Morning Brew, and I am here again on this Tuesday, January 2nd, the first stream of 2024 when it comes to talking about the Yankees. And I am with my guy, El NYY, El Numero Uno. Ruben is in the building. Ruben, Happy New Year. Hope all is well. Hope the fam is good. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. I'm excited for 2024. Big things we're expecting for the Yanks this year, and family's doing great as usual, man. And just keeping up that grind. How about you, bro?
Nice. Feeling good. On a little mini vacation right now, but I'm still streaming. I'm in Florida right now. I'm not home. I'm not in New York City. I spent the New Year's in Florida, lighting up fireworks, being a delinquent in Tampa, Florida, like always. But shout out to the chat. Let's do a little bit of roll call before we continue. Shout out to my guy Richie Rivera at Empire State of Baseball. Richie, my guy, how you doing? 01LS1Z28DABX. Happy New Year, my guy. Hope all is well. Salute. Mi hermano de la isla. My guy Anthony Medina's in the building. Medina, how you doing? Frank Rivera's in the building. My guy Frank, how you doing? Aiden Diwali, good day, good sir. Jacob Petruzzi's in the building. My guy Mikey Mazza in the Fortran Express. Make sure you guys sub to my guy Mikey Mazza. And shout out to Mazza. They had Jabba Chamberlain on the other night. It was a great conversation. Shout out to my guy Jabba. We had him over here on the channel. We're working on doing something else with Jabba Chamberlain. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Truth always is in the building. God bless to you. Salute to you. My guy NFE and the Strike Zone. Salute. Listen, Yankee fans, I know we got 40, 50 people in the building. If you guys can, smack that like button. And if you're watching us for the first time, hit the subscribe button. We are 11 subscribers away from 2,500, on our way to 3,000 stubbies. Ruben, the new year is here. We got a month and some change left for spring training. Pitchers and catchers, they report around February 12th, February 15th. How you feeling when it comes to the new year and our New York Yankees right now currently constructed?
Man, that's around the corner. I'm loving the sound of that. But I'm feeling good. I feel good about the Yankees. Like, I think I know we're not done yet. We still got things that we need to address. But I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. Like the main thing that I needed to get done, that needed to like 100% happen. So anything after that to me is like, all right, now you're just trying to get the finishing touches on the championship squad.
Yeah.
But I needed to get Soto. I needed to get more left-handed hitters. And so in that aspect, like, I feel real good about this team right now in that aspect, because if we have bounce back years from Nestor and Rodon, this team could just take a whole nother level to it. But as of right now, I still want more to be done to kind of make sure we don't have to rely on those ifs as we've done in the past.
Oh yeah.
But right now with these big bats that we got and these lefty bats, I'm happy with so far with how it's gone. Even though something happened last month, but we don't have to talk about that.
Yeah, no, we don't got to talk about that. But I still have some Dodger fans coming in the videos, leaving comments and trying to play like the big boys over here in New York City. But listen, Dodger fans out there, enjoy your little win that you got right now when it comes to Yamamoto. Guess what? I think it's June 20th, around that time, or July 20th, is when the Yankees and the Dodgers meet up for the first time this season. Keep that same energy when you show up to the Bronx. I guarantee you in that series, Yamamoto's not going to pitch. How much you want to bet on that? Yankees versus the Dodgers in June?
I wouldn't be surprised. But then again, remember, he's not Otani. From what I heard, he wants to smoke. From what I heard, even though
those are the rumors.
Those are the rumors. Even though, I mean, if he really wanted to smoke, he would have been here. But but at the same time, I think he'll probably try to show up and see. But we'll be ready. We'll be ready.
Yeah, we'll definitely be ready. Shout out to my guys, TC Stills, who's in the building. Louis G, salute to you. Don't worry, we'll get to whatever potential rentals are out there for the New York Yankees. My guy, Yoan Seco, is in the building. Burns isn't going to happen. Can't trade the farm for another rental. Yoan Seco, we would definitely talk about that. But like I said, we got 60 people in the building collectively. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on Instagram, or if you're watching on Twitter, click that link in the bio and jump on over to YouTube. Salute, salute, salute. Let's start the conversation with the one and only Mr. Corbin Burns, my guy. Randanzo on Twitter. Shout out to my guy, Mr. Randanzo, El Librarian Joe. He says, you see why teams, they went into a bidding war for 25-year-old Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Even though he's an unproven talent, the options now, what are we going to do? Give Lucas Giolito $20 million a season, overpaid Jordan Montgomery $30 to $35 million a season, ignore Blake Snell and his red flags, or are you just going to sit back and pray that Corbin Burns is available? I'm going to ask you, Ruben, when it comes to what Joey says, I 100% agree with him. Right now, you see how the pitching market is. You got Frankie Montas getting $16 million from the Cincinnati Reds. You got Lucas Giolito after 2 bad seasons back-to-back getting $20 million a season from the Boston Red Sox. The pitching market, it favors the players, not the teams. What's your thought about what's going on when it comes to the dollars that are going around? And do you think the Yankees are going to get desperate and overplay for a player? Folks in the chat, let me know. 25, 30 million. What are you willing to give Jordan Montgomery in order to get a reunion? What are you willing to give Blake Snell? What are you willing to give up in order to get Corbin Burns and the Bronx? Ruben, I'll throw it over to you.
Yeah, I mean the money is flying out, man. And this is I threw a tweet the other day, or post that it's X now or whatever it's called. But the other day I mentioned, like, we need to also kind of adjust our mindset. I think a lot of people are looking at these dollars and they're like, what is going on? But remember, inflation is here. So like the inflation has like it's drastically going everywhere. So like you're looking at you can see it in these prices right now for these starting pitchers. So it's a mixture between the inflation plus the lack of consistent starting pitching in the major leagues right now. Because you got a lot of teams that could use a lot of pitchers, but they're like thinking, dang, how can we get a cheap one? Because, there's not a lot. So like, they're going to have to pay up. So in that aspect, I feel like, like whatever, back then, the pillow contract, right? Like whenever you're trying to bounce back from an injury, it was like, okay, we'll give you $7 million and give you $3 to $4 million in incentives. Well, that's inflated up to $16 million, like with Montas, for example. So, and then same thing with like the number 4 starter. Okay, that guy's probably like a 10 mil. Now that's 15 mil, 16, 17 mil. You know what I mean? So, and then now we're getting to that number 3 territory where it really starts, like, people are like, oh, he ain't worth $26 million a year, but it's like, hey, that's number 3 money nowadays. Yeah. So that's the part that we gotta also keep in mind. Like that's the reason why there's no salary cap. Their whole thing is like, we're gonna go ahead and keep putting the contracts up. But now looking at it, is the money crazy? Yeah. Do I think Giolito is worth 40 mil for 2 years? I mean, I don't know. I mean, with a 5 ERA for the last 2 years, that's a bit tough to kind of spend that kind of money for him. Like, even though he's been healthy and everything, but it's crazy the amount of contracts that are going out. But there's no starters in the MLB, and that's the MLB's fault. They've allowed them to focus on matchups a little too much, and they're trying to go into this heavy bullpen game stuff, which honestly, I despise the bullpen stuff. Like when you have way too many bullpen arms coming in, we still need the starting pitcher. We still need them to go 6, 7 innings. We
Mm-hmm.
still need them to even 8 at times. I mean, let the aces go 9 because that's what brings the competitive nature of the sport as well, is that matchup of the starting pitcher versus starting pitcher type of thing. We're losing that because people are not as competitive enough in the way the players like kind of like say, hey, no, like I started this. Let me try to finish. We
Mm-hmm.
need more of that rather than
Yeah.
thinking about, oh man, no, I gotta, I'm not gonna go back out that inning because I gotta save my ERA for the month. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's like
We
you
need
gotta
a
go and want to compete.
we need an old school approach, right? I know some Yankee fans. I know you and I, when we've had these conversations, we want the Yankees to go old school. We want that
Hmm.
philosophy, the new age philosophy, to be taken, boiled up, thrown out the window, and have some of that old school mentality when it comes to the starting rotation and when it comes to pitchers actually finishing the game, just like you brought up. But in this day and age, I don't think that's going to happen. For me, when it comes down to the pitching market, I just view it as it's just supply and demand. Right, the demand
Hmm.
for pitching this offseason, it's big. You got so many teams that are trying to compete next year, but the supply for pitchers is not that great, right? You brought
Hmm.
up Jordan Montgomery. Are you guys comfortable giving Jordan Montgomery 20 to 25 to 30 million a season? According to the reports, his camp is asking at bare minimum 5 years and over $100 million. So that equals up to about 20 to 25 million dollars a season. Is that something you guys are comfortable with, knowing that the Yankees already traded Jordan Montgomery away? They didn't want him when we had him, and we traded him for a guy who was already damaged goods. Granted, I still, I'm gonna bring up Jordan Montgomery since we're talking about him. I still believe that if the Yankees didn't have Harrison Bader in that postseason against the Cleveland Guardians, we would have never made it out the first round against the Cleveland Guardians, right? But even so, we traded a guy who became a World Series pitcher in Jordan Montgomery. And do you guys think a reunion is in the pipeline? Personally, me, I do not think so when it comes to the Yankees and Jordan Montgomery. Now, I see some of you guys in the chat. You guys throwing the name Shane Bieber around. And that's a
Hmm.
name I know my guy Richie Rivera from Empire State of Baseball. That's a name him and we had conversations about. But talking about Jordan Montgomery, these are from my folks over at Dugout Station. Shout out to Julian and Sandy. According to Jim Bowden says the Yankees are hoping to sign Jordan Montgomery, but could pivot to Josh Hader if they miss out on Monty. So do you guys want the Yankees to go out there and get a super bullpen? Or do you want the Yankees to go out there and spend that more money on Jordan Montgomery? Personally, me, I would rather it be a starting pitcher. But if it's Jordan Montgomery, I'm just not too sure, Ruben. My guy Keith McPherson over at WFAN, he says, how much are you willing to pay Jordan and Montgomery for a second tour in the Bronx? You traded him away for damaged goods. You no longer have Harrison Bader. You have two lefties already in the rotation. He has a World Series ring. He has a beard that he likes. He also lives in Boston right now. I don't know. I wouldn't overpay for his return, and I think I'm right there with Keith. I'm not trying to overpay for Jordan Montgomery. What's your thoughts, Ruben, when it comes to that?
Yeah, no, definitely. The overpay, no way. Like you can't go too crazy with Montgomery. Like I love Monty. I mean, you asking most of my friends that have heard me talk about Monty. I'm super bullish on Monty in terms of like I really like him as a pitcher. I think he's a stabilizer in the rotation. Um, he's posting every 5 days, so that's also a big value in itself. And he doesn't underperform when he's healthy, and
Mm-hmm.
he's basically healthy every year. If you take out every single time that he's like, if you look at his what is a 7 year career, if you throw out 2018, 2019, 2020, right? That's you got the the 2020 year plus you got
Mm-hmm.
the Tommy Town where he's recovering. You remove all of that, he's a guy that posts every day. He had
Yeah.
31 starts in 2017 when you include the minors. You got 30 starts in 21, 32 starts in 2022, 32 starts in
Mm-hmm.
2023. So that's the kind of stuff right there that I like about him, is that he's posting every day. And there's a huge value to that because too many starters get paid on their potential, but
Yeah.
they don't post. So like they're in a sense they kind of steal money from the team in that sense, because they're not showing up every day consistently because they're too busy trying to throw 100 rather than throwing 97, 96. so that way they can go ahead and stay in the game longer and not be so wild. So my thing with Monty is that he's actually gotten better ever since he's gotten the Tommy John, got with Cressy and everything. He started increasing his velocity. His fastball is better, way better than what it was when he first started. And now that he's using it more and found a better pitch mix, like if at the right price, I would definitely sign him back. But it can't be more than Rodon money.
Where so Rodon's making about like what, $26 million
27
season, 27. Where are you
That's the
capping it for
highest.
Jordan?
That's
Where
the
are you?
highest.
So 26, 27 is where you capping it for Jordan Montgomery. You're not going past that.
I'm not going past that. That's on an AAV because a lot of people talk about the total money. I could care less about the total money because it's all about the years and the AAV. Because everybody talks about the doctors. Oh, they threw out $1 billion, blah blah. Dude, it's about how much they pay you per year. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
So because when you're budgeting a team, that's how you're constructing and you're looking. Okay, this is our budget for the year. We got to see what each one gets paid per year. So with him, 26, 27 is a very high max. But if I can, I'll try to get him for 22, 23. Get him on the lower end. Maybe give him I'd even extend the contract by 1 year. I'll tell him, like, you want 6 years at 23, 7 years at 23, extend it a little bit because he's one of those pitchers that will age well. So he's not one of the, it's like, what's his name? The lefty, the 90s team that, David Wells. David Wells, he could pitch, roll out, pitch, and that's it. So that's the thing that I like about Monty. And then also, Monty has proven he can pitch in the postseason now. And he's proven that he can actually give you innings, unlike Boone, like limiting him to 80. Like it's ridiculous how Boone managed Monty in his time once he got Monty back. Because remember, 2018 was Boone's first year. He never truly managed Monty until 2021.
Yeah.
And when he came back, he was taking him out with 80 on average. I think his pitches per start were like 82 and 83. Like, he didn't let the man pitch, so he kept limiting him. And then once he went to the other teams, his average pitch per start was like 90 to 93. And guess what? The innings went up, the ERA went down, and it proves the theory that I was always saying. His ERA was always inflated.
Yeah.
And it was still super solid at 3.83.
I want to ask you, Ruben, real quick. Do you attribute that to just a different pitching coach in St. Louis, or do you attribute that more to the ballparks he was pitching in the National League? Because when it comes to the National League is a more pitcher-friendly league. A lot of the ballparks are geared around starting pitching. So being in the AL East, you can understand why a guy's ERA would be somewhat inflated. So do you attribute that just to a different philosophy from a pitching coach or to the stadiums? What's your thoughts, Ruben?
I wouldn't say the stadium, because with Monty, the home runs he gives up, they're legit home runs. When he doesn't get chippies, he doesn't really get hit like that. So you gotta really like hit him really well if you're gonna do that. Because if you look at his four full seasons, 21, 19, 21, and 18. And then more than half of those home runs were in the AL East.
Okay.
So in that aspect, he's a good pitcher. So go ahead.
Hold on. I want to highlight my guy Anthony Garcia in the chat, who says, let's not mention that specific free agent closer before who you know appears. Yeah, we all know if you say that closer's name about 3 times, L.I. Yankee King will pop up like he's the fucking candy man. But shout out to the chat. We got over 100 people in the building. If you guys can, smack that like button for your boys as we continue the conversation. My guy Michael Caputo is in the building. What's going on, Hector? Yankees need a trade for Burns or Bieber and sign Hader. He mentioned him. And then the Yankees had themselves an A+ off season. Now, I want to he brings up the name of Shane Bieber, and the Yankees, they've been in negotiations with the Cleveland Guardians. According to the rumors, we already picked up Oscar Gonzalez off of waivers from the Cleveland Guardians. It's for me, and shout out to my guy Richie Rivera. Anytime someone brings something up, I always want to give them their flowers. He was the first person who mentioned Shane Bieber's name over here on the channel. But Shane Bieber, to me, is the more realistic option. One,
Yeah.
it's not going to cost you as much Corbin Burns is going to cost you when it comes to a trade. Two, he's already pitched in the American League. I understand his numbers may have started to diminish last year, especially when it comes to his velocity. But I think I can trade for Shane Bieber in the offseason. And depending on where the Yankees are sitting at the trade deadline, if we are in second place or if we're in first place, I think it'd be more realistic to make a Corbin Burns trade at the trade deadline than in the offseason, because the asking price is going to be astronomical. I think during the season at the trade deadline, the asking price won't be that high because it's a last-minute trade for Corbin Burns, but there could be a team out there that is willing to overpay for Corbin Burns. I just hope it's not the Yankees.
Yeah,
I've been seeing people saying we could give Spencer Jones, Austin Wells, Peraza up for Corbin Burns. I've been seeing people saying we can give up Gleyber Torres, Peraza, and Pereira for Corbin Burns. I don't want them to overpay when it comes to prospects, and I don't want them when it comes to our offense right now. I'm set with having Gleyber Torres in this lineup as of right now. I'm set having Gleyber Torres in the lineup. Folks in the chat, let us know when it comes to Gleyber Torres. Are you set with him being on the team in 2024, or do you want the Yankees to use him as a trade piece? And talking about 2024 and talking about Gleyber Torres, we was talking about reunions with Jordan Montgomery. There's been chatter that the Yankees are trying to have a reunion with Gio Urshela, who is Gleyber Torres' best friend, his BFF. Ruben, what's your thoughts from this? My guys over at Fireside Yankees, they reported it, and other outlets have been reporting that the Yankees are reportedly interested in a reunion with big-time Gio Urshela. What's your thoughts, Rubes?
I would welcome it for sure. Gio, Gio's always been a guy that I think every Yankee fan, for the most part, was happy with, right? They appreciated his efforts. They appreciated the way that he went about his business. Now, my thing with Gio as a possibility, it's not even anything negative on his end. It's more of like, that tells me that they're looking at trading possibly Peraza, most likely.
Yeah.
Or Gleyber, one of the two. Because I think it's a waste of time, to be honest, to have Peraza be a utility guy. That's what you got Cabrera for. And Peraza should be starting right now. So, and that's the problem with, like, that is a problem that I have with the way the Yankees have handled him, is that in the way they handled Peraza, it seems to be like, okay, like, we don't like the way he hits this, he hits that, like, and it's like, bro, he was succeeding all throughout the minors, and you guys went and tried to switch something too soon. When, like, players get out to rough starts, dude. Why did you put him on a freaking leg kick after a couple weeks of struggling? I mean, it's not like the first month or so they had him up and down on the bench. Like, it wasn't necessarily that he was playing every day. They would play him one game, sit him for the next 6, then play him again. They did the Florial treatment to him because Florial was the same way. And this guy makes more contact than Florial, and he's actually shown to have a good eye and a good. He never looked overmatched.
No, never.
If you looked at his at bats when he put the ball in play, yes, there was a lot of outs at first, but then once he finally got comfortable, he started hitting.
Yeah,
so
wasn't striking out as much as the rest of the lineup. Also in the postseason, had some postseason success against the Cleveland Guardians as well. So when it comes to Gio Urshela, he is a above average defender, a solid defender at third base. But I'm in agreement with you. If the Yankees go out there and bring back Gio Urshela, it just spells the ends when it comes to Peraza. There's no place for Peraza here. That tells me right there the Yankees are going to be gearing up to trade Peraza, whether that's to the Cleveland Guardians for Shane Bieber, because the Guardians, they traded Ahmed Rosario, so they need a shortstop because they're going to hit the rebuild button very soon, right? So when it comes to that, like I said, if Gio is back in the pinstripes, if the Yankees announce over the next couple of weeks they bring back Gio Urshela, guess what, Yankee fans? All of you out there that have been going hard, wanting Peraza to get playing time and be the starting third baseman, that's a pipe dream. He's going to be gone. My reluctancy when it comes to the Gio Urshela thing is we already have DJ LeMahieu, who has been trying to recover from hip surgery. Urshela, he didn't have a hip surgery like DJ did. He had a pelvis surgery. So that means we got 2 third basemen that has hips and pelvis issues.
Yep.
That's not something that I'm trying to sign up for 2024.
Yeah.
We've had so many injuries over the past few years, so many injuries last year. The last thing I want for us is to go out there and sign a guy to replace a guy at third base that is recovering from the injury that this guy just got a surgery for in the offseason. You see what I'm saying?
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. And we've already had our fair share of injury woes.
Oh, yeah.
So at this point, it's like, dude, like, why not stay with the healthier player, the more talented player, the more upside player? I mean, like the fact that Boone automatically went into, oh, DJs are starting third baseman. That to me was like, man, you should have like kind of told like DJ, like, hey, I know you're gonna pay 15 mil a year, but come in ready to compete because that young kid has some talent and he's ready to try to make a name for himself. And I think that would fit much better for to do that than to go and bring in a Gio Urshela, who at this point he already knows that he's going to play at some point. So it's like I don't think that's a lot of competition for DJ at all, to be honest. So and DJ needs like, and I'm not saying that DJ is not a professional or anything like that. Like he's awesome. Like I've appreciated DJ's work ethic and everything, but sometimes you do need a little pressure, a little bit more of that pressure next to you from having someone trying to take your job. And with Peraza, like I it still feels like, man, like you guys didn't let him flourish. Like I have no issues with how they handle Volpe. I'm glad they left him up the entire year. I'm glad they did all of that. But you know, you got people saying, "Oh, Peraza sucks already," and it's like, "Oh, don't you see his numbers? Like Volpe sucked all year when it comes to the hitting too." So, like, if we call it a spade, I mean, the 209 is not nothing nice to look at. And a lot of people say, "Oh, batting average doesn't matter." Come on, it's already been like disputed, put to the grave in a sense. Like batting average does matter, and you need to have consistency in your ability to get hits. Now, obviously, that's when you bring in the slug. You know, there's other stuff where you're trying to get more home runs and doubles, not just straight up singles. But this guy right here, like I really felt like they did Peraza wrong in the same way they did with Florial, and it just sucks. I'm happy if we get Gio. Like again, I like Gio as a Yankee and everything, but it is sad because it makes me think that Peraza most likely gets traded, or the expected/unexpected where Torres gets traded.
I just want to take a quick second to shout out everybody that's in the chat. We got over 130 people in the building. If you guys can, smack that like button. We are sitting on 51 likes at the moment. Let's get the stream up to 100 likes. So smack that like button. If not, Anna Marie is going to hit you in the head with a chancleta. We got 2,490 subs. We are 10 away from 2,500. If you guys can, smack the subscribe button. Let's get up to 2,500 while we are on the stream. I want to highlight a few chats that we have right here. Let me just remove Gio. My guy, Mark T. Maker, who says, I am a Glaber guy, and I've been saying that they shouldn't trade and they should sign him long term. Let's see what happens this season. I'm not sure if the Yankees are going to prioritize Gleyber Torres when it comes to a contract extension over Juan Soto. So let's see what happens when it comes to the season. Gleyber had a bounce-back season last year. Let's just hope that he can improve and build off of his success from last year. My guy, Sonny Corleone in the chat. Hector, you have many good points. We need more pitchers to finish the game like they used to. Sonny, I am right there with you. I'm not shying away from the starting rotation or the bullpen. My guy Michael Caputo says, Hector, can you tell these fans, think if you trade for a guy like Juan Soto, the Yankees should be going all in to win a World Series. You don't trade for Juan Soto for nothing and do nothing else. Listen, Caputis, I am right there with you. I don't think me or Ruben are advocating for the Yankees to sit back and not do anything else, but you just have to do smart baseball moves. You Yes, you go all in for 2024, but at the same time, you don't overpay and you don't allow another GM to fleece you from the prospects that you have, because down the line in 162 games, not everybody stays healthy. So you may need some depth pieces down in the minor leagues that you may have to call up to fill in just in case. Not just in case, but when Giancarlo Stanton goes on the IL and stuff like that. My guy John O'Neill in the chat, salute to you, John. Can they get Devin Williams with Corbin Burns? I don't want to see Spencer Jones get traded. Will they take Gleyber Torres? Listen, if you're trying to get a top believer in Devin Williams and Corbin Burns, you're going to have to give up a top prospect like Spencer Jones in order to make that happen. But talking about Giancarlo Stanton and talking about Stanton's potential from getting injured, have you seen the pictures of Giancarlo Stanton lately?
Bro, he
The man looking lean and mean like a piece of Kobe beef. What's your thoughts about Giancarlo Stanton, bro? And folks in the chat, let us know what's your thoughts about Stanton. Have any of you guys seen any of the pictures or how lean our guy is looking?
No, man, like I honestly think that him looking that lean is encouraging. He looks, it looks like it'll be better on his legs, on his knees, on his hamstrings. All that weight as he ages. I mean, he's a big dude. He's 6'6", guys.
Yeah.
He's gonna need the lighter weight. You know what I mean? So I'm glad he's taking that step. The hitting stuff. I don't think it was necessarily the weight. I think the weight is more just to keep him on the field, right? But the hitting side of it, it's like, man, what were you doing for the last 2 years that you didn't try to switch it up or something? I mean, you're 33, 34 years old. Might as well, look into like why you're struggling for, like, because people say, oh, he was an all-star, won the MVP of the all-star game in 2022. But I mean, he sucked in 2022. Like, people forget. I mean, he hit 211 that year. And everybody keeps saying, oh, he's going to bounce back and hit 35 home runs. And I'm like, the home runs has never been the issue with Giancarlo.
Yeah.
Giancarlo's issue has always been either he misses too many games and he's not hitting. The home runs never stopped. If you go and take his home runs divided by the games played and put a full season, he's dropping you 45 home runs. So the home runs have never left. It's just that he's hitting too many ground balls, or he's hitting too many balls into like basically right at the third baseman, because he's not lifting the ball. And I'm glad that he's taking it really serious after 2 full years and it took like it felt like it took a full 2 years to humble him, in a sense, to like say, hey, you gotta regroup, you gotta change it up. So now, and I think it was Krishner that mentioned an article about a few months ago, like 2 months ago or so, that he went into was Driveline, and basically they're gonna work with the swing. They're gonna have him lift the ball more. People worry about the strikeouts. Look, Giancarlo's going to strike out regardless.
Yeah, that's a given. That's a given.
I could care less about it. Like, Giancarlo's one of those guys, he would actually benefit from a launch angle. Because too many guys try the launch angle stuff, and it's like, dude, you shouldn't be doing it like that. Because most of the time, they're guys that don't have the strength of Giancarlo. Because as we all know, Giancarlo hits the ball, it stays hit.
Yeah.
There's like the actual launch angle might make it go from 480 to 520. So it's not like, for him, it's just more of like, let's get you out of the infield. Because, bro, how many times he hit the ball to the third baseman and shortstop, and he's not even halfway through down the first baseline?
No,
he don't have the same speed, and it's crazy because it feels like we got robbed, of seeing what could have been with Stan and Judge together, if he didn't decline so rapidly with his legs. And believe it or not, I blame the Yankees on that, because they should have never DH'd him from the beginning. They should have kept him half of the time on the field, and have him have that expectation of like, you need to be ready to play the outfield all the time, rather than let's ease him in there.
My thing is, when it comes to that, if you're willing to play Aaron Judge in center field, what was stopping you from playing Aaron Judge in left field? That's my issue.
Exactly.
When we first got Giancarlo Stanton, we already knew Aaron Judge was the better athlete. We already knew Aaron Judge was the better outfielder, the better fielder, but they stuck Giancarlo Stanton in left field when he first came here. He was DHing sometime, but they had him in left field. I just want to understand the brain trust. Whoever's in charge, explain to me, If you are willing to play Aaron Judge in center field, what stopped you from playing Aaron Judge in left field? We saw this past year in spring training, they were trying Aaron Judge in left field. And I think he played a couple of games during the season in left field. I just want to understand, back in 2019, back in 2018, when we first traded for Giancarlo Stanton, what stopped you from making that deal? Because I think putting Giancarlo Stanton in left field, specifically in Yankee Stadium, is when the downturn started coming towards his injuries. Too many wear and tears. Left field in Yankee Stadium is like center field in every other ballpark in Major League Baseball, minus Fenway Park.
That's another thing, too. When you look at his injuries, right? He played in the turf in Miami, so that's another issue, too. So why would you play him in left field, knowing that he already has that wear and tear? The DH should have theoretically kept him fresher. But the Yankees haven't learned their lesson when it comes to the rest. So having more rest doesn't equate healthy. It's a balance, and the Yankees too often they try to like ease guys in if they feel sore, and it's like, bro, that's part of the baseball. Like, you're gonna feel sore. You gotta play through it regardless, because you gotta know the difference between just being a little bit sore and being actually hurt. And that's the part right there where like they ease it too much, and then their bodies get out of whack. Because same thing with the starting pitchers. Okay, you're gonna go throw 85 pitches this game, 70 pitches here, 90 here, 100 here, back down to 60. Like, the pitchers are getting hurt too because there's no consistency in the way they throw their pitches. Same thing with these ball players. You're gonna go. They start getting sore. All right, sit in for like the next 2 games. I thought he was just hot, and it's like he wasn't gonna get hurt from being a little bit sore. It's just that his body needs that rhythm. Like, and too many times, how many times Giancarlo was about to get hot? I mean, yeah, like 2 scorching hot games, and boom comes in, we sit him because we don't believe in hot.
It's either we go with the hot hand and he pulls a hand streak, or we let him go through his cold spell for a couple of weeks. But no, I see the arguments when it comes to that. For me, you've seen reports come out. I think Jeff Passan put it out also that the Yankees are planning to have Giancarlo Stanton be the cleanup hitter in the 2024 season in the lineup. That right there signals to me that the Yankees are going to have Judge in the 2-hole and Juan Soto in the 3-hole, which I think is a horrible move to make, but that's another conversation for another day. The Yankees seem like they're signaling they're going to give Giancarlo Stanton every opportunity out the gate to win that job and to hold his position and prove he has something left in the tank to give. But if we're 1 month or a month and a half, 2 months into the season, and Giancarlo Stanton is hitting below 200, the Yankees are going to have a big problem. And they're going to have to solve that big problem ASAP. We can't go through another season, 162 games or 100 games because Giancarlo Stanton gets hurt and he goes on vacation during the middle of the season. We can't have another season where Giancarlo Stanton, who is making $25 to $30 million a season, hit below 200 and only played less than 100 games. We can't have that this year.
And that's another thing too. When you look at Stanton, right, the way you're paying him, like a lot of fans are like, I'll just be happy if he hit 230, 240. Guys, this is Giancarlo freaking Stanton. If you take out those 2 years, his worst batting average was 240. How are you okay with 230 and 225? Like, I see these low expectations for Stanton. No, hold him accountable to what he's getting paid for.
Yeah, you got to.
If he's an MVP, you need to expect him to hit no less than 250.
You got
because he's a middle order bat.
Because if not, bro, all you're doing is you're clogging up your lineup. You're losing out on a roster spot that you could give to someone else. And if it's in a critical situation, extra innings, and you need an extra pinch runner and you don't have it, that's on you. That's your fault as the front office because you have this issue with Giancarlo Stanton.
And another thing is people go and they point to Schwarber, right? Because Schwarber is like the less athletic Gallo from Texas, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what he became, which I was so disappointed because he was such a good hitter when he was with the Nationals and the Red Sox. I thought he was going to go on a monster tear for the next 5 years, and it turned out he decided he's going to become Gallo, which to me was like, what are you doing? But anyways, if you look at Schwarber, the only reason why it's okay for him to hit 180 something is because he's walking 130, 40 times a year. Guys, no one does that. That's not normal.
Not just that, Ruben. If Giancarlo Stanton was hitting 180, but he was popping 40 plus home runs, I can take that. I'll take that.
But he's already doing it.
I can't. He hasn't hit 40 home runs since being with the Yankees.
Yes, but if you look at his on pace, he's a 40 homer bat as long as he's healthy.
If he's healthy, that's the big issue. If he's healthy, so if he was healthy and if he was popping 40 home runs, 90 to 100 RBIs, I can live with the 180, 190 batting average. I can't live with it, but I can't live with it if he's playing less than 100 games and he's not even popping 25 home runs. That's when I can't live with it.
See, but to me, they're both the same. Because if you look at it, if he's hitting cleanup, you cannot accept a batting average under 250. If he's hitting cleanup. Now, if he's hitting 7th, 8th, or he's leading off,
true, yeah,
then you can go ahead because you're not expecting him to drive in runs. Because the 3, 4, 5 hole have always been to drive in runs. So my problem with that is that he's already a 40 homer bat on an on pace per game type of basis. He's doing exactly what Schwarber's doing minus the walks.
Yeah.
And Schwarber's only looking good hitting 191, 195, whatever he hit with the 45 home runs because he's at leadoff walking 130 times. But if he was hitting cleanup for the Phillies, you know how often they'll be booing that man? Because he's expected to now go and say, hey, you got men on base and you struck out again.
No, I get it. But I think the fans in Philly and Philadelphia, they can live with a 190 batting average as long as you pop in 40 plus home runs.
And on base. He has a 350 on base.
No, I get it. Trust me, I get it. And when you look at
Giancarlo had a 280.
and when you look at Giancarlo Stanton, shout out to my guy Cadzilla in the chat. Giancarlo Stanton's he's only hit 40 home runs once in his career, and that was the season he won the MVP. I want to take a break real quick. We got over 158 people watching us collectively. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I think we are sitting at, let me just check how many likes we are sitting at on the stream. We are sitting at 61 likes, and we got 150 people in the building. If you guys can, smack that like button for your boys. Let's run the likes up on this live stream. I got a couple of questions for the chat that I want to bring up. My guy, Gio LV. Gio, shout out to you. Happy New Year. Gio says, questions on this team. Stanton, DJ, Rizzo, Rodon, Nesta. Who's closing? Volpe's batting average. Clark Smith going deeper in games. Dominguez coming back strong. That's a lot, fellas. Gio, I'm right there with you. So this is what we're going to do. Me and my guy, Ruben, we're going to break down every aspect of this chat right now. Yes, we have questions on the team when it comes to Giancarlo Stanton, when it comes to DJ LeMahieu, Anthony Rizzo. We don't know how his bounce back is going to be after his concussion syndromes he went through last season. What are we going to get out of Carlos Rodon? Is Nasty Nestor going to come back looking nasty, or is it going to be a flat? I'll throw it over to you, Ruben, first. What's your take on the first part of Gio's chat? Go ahead, bro.
No, that's legit. The questions are there, bro. The questions are there. And honestly, like the questions with Rodon and Nestor is all based on health. Because actually all four of them. It's all based on health for those four. But if they are healthy, I think all four will perform. But that is the problem right there, is that the fact that they've always been injured these last few years. Like, if you look at our roster is an amazing roster. You would think that World Series favorite if it wasn't for all these underperforming years that they've had recently with the injuries. And it's all like this. Like, it's injured, underperforming, tied together because if they weren't injured, they wouldn't be underperforming. Because even with Stan, the last 2 years, he's gotten off hot in the first month and a half, gets injured, and then he starts struggling. So the problem is keeping up that. Same thing with Rizzo. Started off hot, was having the best year he's had since 2019. He was hitting 304, 376 on base, had an 880 OPS. He was balling. And it didn't even heat up yet, where he could have probably been get that slugging up even higher, where the ball would have been flying more. So as long as these guys are healthy, I agree. We got a star-studded roster as long as they're healthy. But these questions, man, it does make you wonder because you're also getting older.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you gotta. And my thing is like the way the nutrition is nowadays, the way the skill is. I think these guys are not too old for them to bounce back. They should be able to bounce back.
Mm-hmm.
And that part to me is like, but I hate the fact that it's another if.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's kind of hard to put a lot of faith on players that got the big ifs next to their name, if you understand what I'm saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because while you're looking at this list, we can guarantee Giancarlo Stanton is probably going to miss anywhere from 30 to 50 games. That's just a given. When it comes to DJ LeMahieu, we saw DJ LeMahieu at the beginning of the season look like a shell of himself. He couldn't even get the ball out the infield the first part of the season. But the last 2 months of the season, he got a little bit better. His legs were getting underneath him. He was able to drive the ball oppo field. He started to look like the old DJ LeMahieu. And if I'm not mistaken, according to StatMuse and Baseball Reference, for the last 2 seasons, DJ LeMahieu hit over 300, just like Gleyber Torres for the month of August and for the month of September. When you talk about Anthony Rizzo, again, an older veteran player on the opposite side of 30, past his prime, who's coming back from a horrible concussion situation from last year, right? We don't know what Anthony Rizzo is going to give us. Before he had that collision with Fernando Tatis, he was on his way to an all-star season, over 300 batting average, 10 plus home runs. I think he had 11 home runs at the time. He was looking like prime Anthony Rizzo after working with Aaron Judge's hitting coach at the same time, because he worked with him last offseason and he's working with him this offseason as well, Anthony Rizzo. So what are we going to get out of Anthony Rizzo? If you look at it, Stanton is making 25, 30 million. DJ is making about 15 million. Anthony Rizzo is making about 18 million. You put that together, that's over $50 million of what ifs. Of what ifs. Then you throw in Carlos Rodon into that equation. That's another 25 million. That's 75 millions of what if. It's kind of hard for you as a baseball team to feel confident, or it's kind of hard for you as a fan to feel confident in your team if you have 75 million wrapped up in what ifs. I'm just saying that's just something that's a bit concerning for me. But let's move over to Carlos Rodon and Nestor Cortez. I know Nestor Cortez is coming back from arm issues. Carlos Rodon, he was up and down all season with his back and his shoulder. What are you expecting out of Carlos Rodon? What is your bare minimum when it comes to Rodon, and how many stars do you project for Carlos Rodon this season? And same for Nestor Cortez, bro.
I think at the bare minimum we can see 24 starts for each one at the minimum. And that's hoping. Well, Nestor's a little bit of a tricky issue because it is the rotator cuff so like that the shoulder does scare me, because usually when the shoulder starts barking, that can lead to surgery, and it just goes downhill. But as long as those two are pretty healthy, like Rodon's thing, I think last year Rodon just never got his back right. I really think his back just was not right last year, and I think he rushed back. I think the spring training, the new scenery, like I think with a full spring training, hopefully he is doing every single little thing to make sure his back is 100% ready to go to start the season, because at this point we really need Rodon to be there. Like, to me, 24 starts, I can see them both have I'm gonna give you a wide range because I'm not gonna discount the success they've had in the past. I can see them have a mid-2 ERA, and I can see them also have a 3.7, 3.8 ERA. So because a lot of people, like, they automatically want to throw Nestor in the bullpen. They say that he's injury prone. He's only been injured one season. Like, let's slow down a little bit. Nestor's not injury prone. Rodon has had a bevy of injuries. So that's two separate situations. But I think we can see 24, 28 starts from each one. As long as they give me a mid-3 ERA, I'm happy.
Yeah, same. And, if you have that, if they're able to give you 24 to 28 starts, like you said, and have an ERA in the mid-3, 3.5 or 3.7 even, I think we could live with that, especially if your number one starting pitcher in your rotation is Garrett Cole, the reigning AL Cy Young Award winner. I want to ask you, bro, if you knew this. Since 2020, do you know what starting pitcher is leading Major League Baseball in innings pitched since 2020? Can you take a guess?
2020.
Since 2020, what starting pitcher is leading all of Major League Baseball when it comes to innings pitched? Folks in the chat, let me
Shane
know
Bieber.
as well. Who do you think is leading all of Major League Baseball in innings pitched? Let me know. Who you said?
No, it's not Shane Bieber. He had an injured 21. Never mind.
Mhm.
Let's go with Zach Wheeler.
Zach Wheeler's on the list. He's not
Okay.
number 1. He's number 4. He's on the
Okay.
list. Number 5 is Corbin Burns with 622 innings. Number 4 is Zach Wheeler with 629 innings. Number 3 is Aaron Nola, 650 innings.
So it's
Number
Colin.
2 is Senor Sandy Alcantara with 661 innings. And number 1 is Garrett Cole, 664 innings since 2020, leading all of Major League Baseball. Garrett Cole is our ace. Garrett Cole is our guy. And I'm happy Garrett Cole is the number 1 starting pitcher in our rotation. But he's going to need some help.
Yeah, most definitely.
Definitely
At this
need
point,
some help.
he needs all the help that he can get in this rotation.
Guys, we got a poll that's going on in the chat right now. The poll is saying, how confident are you feeling about the Yankees going into the 2024 season? So far, I have 56% of you guys saying pretty confident. 25% are saying, what are we doing? And 19% are saying, I am in a glass case of emotions. Guys, if you haven't voted in the poll, make sure you get your votes in before we close the poll up going forward. And also, oh, my guy Ruben, his phone died. So I'm gonna just remove him just in case, just until he rejoins us. Don't worry about that. Until Ruben come back, I'm gonna look at the chat real quick. My guy Caputi says, "You'll be sorry if they never win a World Series again." Let's see if we can, if you can expect that. Listen, Caputo, when it comes to I get it. Trust me, I get it. As a Yankee fan, I understand how frustrated you are that this team has not won a championship since 2009. I get it. Caputo, I'm a Knicks fan. We haven't won shit since the 70s. The last time the Knicks won a championship, women in this country weren't even allowed to have their own bank account. That's how long it's been since the Knicks won a championship. So I get it. I understand how frustrated you are as a Yankee fan not seeing a championship since 2009. But I'm not saying we're going to win it this year, but I feel way more confident this offseason going into a season that I've done in a very long time. Yes, we didn't get Yamamoto. I understand how frustrating that is, but we did get Juan Soto. We got Juan Soto by only giving up 1 top 10 prospect. Relax. Just listen to that. 1 top 10 prospect. So we have options out there. They may not be the sexiest. It may not be Corbin Burns. Shane Bieber is not the Shane Bieber that won a Cy Young Award years ago, but Shane Bieber would still be a solid number 2 starting pitcher behind Garrett Cole and in front of and in front of Carlos Rodon. Let's look at the chat real quick. My guy Mac Miles says the Yankees haven't spent any money this offseason. We did add about $33 million when it comes to Juan Soto. But let's see what happens when it comes to other deals. I get it. When it comes to the free agency aspect, we haven't opened up that checkbook. I get that, Mac Miles. My guy Victor says Will Warren can win a starter role in spring training. He definitely can. I would be expecting a lot out of Will Warren this season. Yankee fans, if you haven't looked up or looked into Will Warren, make sure you go look into Will Warren. I think he's going to be a phenomenal starting pitcher. As of right now, he is ranked as the number 1 starting pitcher in the Yankees starting rotation. My guy, you're still young, baby. You're young. You're not Social Security age, my guy. You don't got no salt and pepper on your face. All right, Caputis, calm down. I'm 34. You're 38. We're not in our 40s. Don't worry about it, Caputis. Uncle Ted, my guy, Uncle Ted. Chapman and Volpe on the left side will be a black hole or Blackmore for pitchers' dreams. Uncle Ted, I do like Chapman's glove at third base. It's just Chapman's bat. It's just a horrible bat, bro. That I'm not willing to spend $20 million a season on just a guy for his gold glove. I'm not. Arizona is looking at Chapman. I'm staying far away from Chapman, honestly. My guy Richie Rivera said, Hector, which MLB legend in the prime of their career would win the Royal Rumble match? I would say Frank Thomas, the big hurt. Frank Thomas from the Chicago White Sox in his prime will beat the shit out of everyone in the World Rumble. That's just me. My guy Matt Chewy. Shout out to Matt Chewy in the building. I'd rather not overpay for anyone in this free agency class. Let's spend next year instead where there's more quality players. No, absolutely, Matt. If I could, I would want the Yankees to go all in on Zach Wheeler. A Cy Young winner with the Phillies, innings eater as well. He was on that list that I brought up, most innings pitched since 2020. He was 4th on that list. So yeah, I see you when it comes to that. Yes, J Ram would be a great move. Who said that? Anna Marie. That's why I love Anna Marie. Jose Ramirez. I'm telling you, guys, once Jose Ramirez becomes available, everybody's going to be looking at me like I'm stupid. I've been saying it for the longest. The Cleveland Guardians, they're about to hit a rebuild. There's a reason why they're looking to trade Shane Bieber and Emmanuel Clase. They're trying to rebuild. So if Jose Ramirez becomes available at third base, Spencer Jones, bye-bye. You can leave. I'll package you up and send you with a deal ASAP. Peraza, you can go. Bye-bye. All right? If it comes down for Jose Ramirez, having a bat like Jose Ramirez in this lineup to go alongside Juan Soto and Aaron Judge, how can you not say yes to that? How can any Yankee fan out there say no to that potential? All right, I'm going to do this real quick. I'm going to throw the link for the open panel in the chat. We're going to have an open panel just for the next like 15 to 30 minutes. Just want to rock out real quick with my people. It's 2024. How do we start the year off for 2024 and not have an open panel? Again, we got 150 of you beautiful people in the building. If you haven't already, smack that like button. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We are sitting at 2,492. Hold on, let me just double check. 2,492 people in the chat. If you guys can hit that subscribe button. My guy Cadzilla says, hey, what about Gallo? He's still available. I don't think any Yankee fan is going to want Joey Gallo here in the Bronx, my guy Cadzilla, but that's a funny one. I got to bring up the sly guy, my guy, El Consigliere, Yankee boy number 7. How you doing, gorgeous? Happy New Year.
Hey, brother Hector, how are you?
I'm good, my guy. Happy New Year, bro. Family's good. All is good.
All is good. Getting used to Texas.
Nice. Is the water good in Texas? How's the tap water in Texas, my guy?
Dude, I got filtration.
Fancy. You fancy. Oh, Consigliere. That's how fancy he is. He cut himself out. There you go.
But anyhow, I want to get back to why I'm in favor of Gio, or why I think Gio is a smart move. You bring in Gio, you now can trade Torres and Peraza for starting pitching. Because I don't like what they're doing with Peraza, and I agree with everybody that says that if we're not gonna bring him up, then trade him. Don't let him dwindle down there in the minors and become, no value at all. Let's get him while he's still got some value. And the two of them together could get us some pitching that we need. DJ can go to second base. DJ doesn't have to play third base. He'll do fine at second base. And that gives us a solid infield with Gio there. And Gio's a hitter. And he's a gamer. And you can't take that away from him. So I think that's something else to take a look at. On the Burns situation, he's got to be a no-go. It'll cost too much for him. And not only that, there's no guarantee he's going to re-sign. He already said he wants to test the free agent market. We don't need that. We need money for Soto. So we can't sit there and go out and spend a bundle and forget we got the big guy already on our books and we want to keep him there. So we've got to be smart about the money. I also believe Monty, even though there's some doubters, I think he'd still be a good fit within the Yankees. He's a solid ball player. He's a bull on the mound. Maybe he had to leave to show the Yankees what he actually had inside that gut of his. And so that was something else. I didn't see it when he was with the Yankees. I thought he was getting up too many runs. But then when I saw him knuckle down and start pitching for the Rangers and pitching well, I saw him in a different light.
Yeah.
I think we can use him. I think he's somebody that could help the team. Especially right now, Rodon's going to be iffy, even though we're all hoping that he gets back to form. But so we need somebody like Monty. I think Bieber might be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Putting him back with Matt Blake.
Mm-hmm.
They worked before. Blake seems to be a wonderkind when it comes to working with pitchers and getting them straightened out. So, I mean, there's a lot of potential. We need to stop looking at hitters right now. I think we've got plenty of hitters right now.
Yeah.
We need to position ourselves to get pitchers. And that's
Mm-hmm.
where I see Gio being a smart move because that frees up two bodies. That frees up Torres and it frees up Peraza.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't see us using Peraza, and so we might as well get something for him.
No, I'm right there with you, Yankee boy number 7, and Peraza and
By the
Gleyber
way,
Torres.
it's Joel, Hector.
Oh, Joe, fine, Joe. I'm not sure if he was trying to hide from the FBI or anything like that. I ain't want to dox you, my brother. But no worry, Joe. But no, Peraza and Torres, Joe, will be the perfect package to offer the Florida Marlins for like a Luzardo or one of their starting pitchers that they got over there, that Edward Cabrera kid also. But for me, and these are my concerns, we have DJ LeMahieu, who, like I said, is coming back off of hip surgery, right? So this is he's not a young spring chicken. And my concerns with Gio Urshela is he's coming back not off of hip surgery, but he's coming back off of pelvis surgery. So do we want to have our everyday third baseman and everyday second baseman as guys that are coming back or recovering or trying to come back from lower body surgeries? That's my only concern. I know we still would have our super utility guy and Oswaldo Cabrera, who could play second, third, shortstop, any spot in the outfield. I know we still have him, but I'm not too sure if I want to bank my entire season on Gio and DJ LeMahieu both staying healthy after they both had surgeries when it comes to their lower bodies, especially DJ because he's on the opposite side of 30. That's my only hesitation when it comes to that.
They need to keep Cabrera in the infield. He's a much better infielder than he is an outfielder.
Oh, 100%. 100%. But I think to your point, I think Shane Bieber is the more realistic option. If you was to ask me if we're in Vegas right now and we're at the betting book, who am I putting my money on? I'm putting my money on Shane Bieber. One, it's going to cost you less when it comes to prospects, right? Get that. I understand that. And two, he's pitched in the American League and he's familiar with Matt Blake. You brought up Matt Blake. Him and Matt Blake, they have a relationship that goes back to when Matt Blake used to work with the Cleveland Guardians. So if I had to put money down on it, it would be more of the familiar. If I'm the Yankees, I'm going for the familiar aspect, not the unknown. Corbin Burns is an unknown in the American League, but Shane Bieber, he's pitched in the AL. He knows my pitching coach. They have a great repertoire and great track record. When they work together, that's when Shane Bieber had his better seasons, won a Cy Young. So if I'm the Yankees, I feel more comfortable trading with Cleveland than when it comes to Milwaukee. But fellas, just hold on 1 second. I got somebody else backstage I want to bring up before we get ready to dip out. David Elias with the $2 super chat. He says, I'm in a glass case of emotions. Very poetic. David Elias, I am right there with you. We're going to close the poll as of right now. 51% of you guys said you're pretty confident in the team. 52 is pretty confident in the team. Just close. I can't read it. 31% says, what are we doing? And 16%, I am in a glass case of emotions. Caputo, are you feeling emotional today? Happy New Year to you, my guy. How you feeling?
Well, I think that trading for Juan Soto was a great start, but now it seems like this team is walking on eggshells. I mean, what was the point? Just like bear with me with this. What was the point of trading for Juan Soto, one of the best young hitters in all baseball, 25 years old, if you're not going all in? Like, you trade for a guy to that caliber, you have to be going all in. I mean, you can't just trade for Juan Soto and say, oh, no, we're going to skip out the rest of the offseason. That means you have to be going all in 100%. So if the Yankees get like two scrub pitches and they get like a bad closer, then this is not a successful offseason. You just wasted Juan Soto, and now you're wasting Soto, Judge, and Cole. It makes no sense. This is what I'm upset about. And I had a feeling that Brian Cashman would trick everybody again and duke the whole fan base all over again. This is why this guy needs to be fired. He's an awful general manager. I mean, you can't do things like that when you trade for a player like Juan Soto. You think Soto's going to want to come back next year if he sees what they're doing this offseason? You think he's going to want to come back? I don't think so.
Michael,
we
let me
gotta
throw
wait and
another
see.
slant.
Go ahead,
Let me,
Joel. Go ahead.
yeah, let me throw. Sorry about that, Hector. Let me throw another slant in there. We're dealing with a very unusual year. We're dealing with a year in which pitchers are being paid a shitload of money, and all of them were waiting for Yamamoto to get signed. That's why nothing happened prior to Yamamoto. Then once Yamamoto got signed, you've only seen two pitchers get signed for more money than they were worth 2 years ago in their prime. You saw Giuliano get paid too much money, and you saw Montas get paid too much money. So right
Mm-hmm.
now, if I'm second guessing Cashman, he's waiting for the money to be there for the right person and
Yeah.
not overspend. Otherwise, we will spend a shitload of money on people that aren't going to work out. So I would rather him take a little bit more time, make the right decision, put the money in the right place, keep the money in the bank for Soto when we need it,
Mm-hmm.
but get us
Mm-hmm.
the pitching that we need. And I think that's what's going on right now. It's just that we don't see it because we're on the outside looking in.
Yeah. And like Mike
That's a good
Perez
point.
says here in the chat, and I'll throw it over to Ruben to get your take on both what Joel and Caputo says. But Mike Perez says, don't forget, it's the Boris factor. He
Yep.
slows everything
Yep.
down when it comes to the offseason and
He got the most of the
negotiations.
pictures.
And this is the perfect example of supply and demand. The demand is
Mhm.
through the roof when it comes to starting pitching, but the supply is not that much, so you're gonna have to overpay. Ruben, I throw it over to you to bounce back off of what Caputo and Joel said.
Yeah, it's a supply and demand, like as you were saying, and at this point, like if you're gonna go and spend money on someone, you want to make sure someone that actually is gonna show up. So that's why to me, I would have rather got like if we're gonna have to go on a higher end dollar wise, then I would have gone Montgomery because of that, just because of the
Mhm.
whole durability. But realistically, I do see Bieber as the option because of the whole Matt Blake thing, like you
Mhm.
broke down, and then also with Bieber too. Let's not forget, like a lot of people, I wouldn't be surprised if the Guardians don't trade him if they don't meet a certain asking price. I don't think his market is as low as people may think, only
Mhm.
because he's off one bad year. In his bad year, he still averaged over 6 innings per start. One of the few starters to do that, and he still had a 3.8 ERA. And then he hasn't even reached 4. The only time he's ever had an ERA over 4 was his rookie season. After that, all his ERAs are in the low threes, in the twos. I mean, you even have his Cy Young year where he had an ERA of 1.7 something like that, like 1.73 or whatever in the shortened season. So I don't think his value is as low as people may think. It's just
Mhm.
low in the sense that of the recency of the elbow inflammation and everything. So as long as the team's here that he's throwing like he's back to throwing 94, 95, then people will feel good about him. Because my only question on him is how healthy is he? Because elbow inflammation worries me,
Yeah.
and that's the only thing. But if his elbow is good, they said supposedly he's at MRIs, they're clean, everything's good. He's back working with driveline to get his velocity back. If his velocity is back, I don't see him being as cheap as people may think in terms of prospects.
Mhm.
Um, and especially with the supply and demand, he's not going to cost as much as a free agent pitcher. So the teams are going to have to decide: do we want to pay up money, or do we want to pay up prospects? Because it's
Mhm.
going to cost you either way,
One or the
regardless.
other. Yeah, one or the other is gonna
Oh, and
cost
Hector,
you.
can I make another point?
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead, Caputo. I want
Okay.
to put out
Look,
a
I
point
know
out there. Go ahead,
look, I
Caputo.
know we're not in the same league as the Dodgers, but the Dodgers just spent $2 billion this offseason. Can't the Yankees do that? Can the
It's
Yankees?
I
it, it, it's not like that with Caputo. It's not like that, bro.
But
I
they want to
see,
win.
but the difference is Caputo, right? And this is what the Dodgers have been doing. And my fault, Ruben, for cutting you off. This is
Go
what the
for go for.
Dodgers have been doing over the past 5 to 6 years. Ever since they won their World Series and they got rid of David Price and other high profile, big money contracts from their payroll. They've been cutting their payroll. The reason why they were able to add Otani, Yamamoto, Glass now is because their payroll this season was 170 to 180 million dollars. So they were able to add all that money and still not be over that Steve Cohen threshold when it comes to the luxury tax. So that's why they were able. That's why they were able to do that. The Yankees were already sitting like right there next to the Steve Cohen threshold. We couldn't do that. And when you look at both the Yankees and the Dodgers, what the Yankees offered for Yamamoto, I think was the better
contract.
Was a better contract because one, you're giving him more money per season AAV. Two, you're giving him more guaranteed money up front because that Dodger contract, all that money is backloaded for the last few years. And three, he'll be able to opt out sooner with the Yankees than he would have with the Dodgers. With the Dodgers, he's going to opt out at 30 to 31 years old. With the Yankees, it would have been at 28 or 29. Him going out on a free agent market, he would have been able to make a bigger contract than he signed for initially.
I want them to sign Juan Soto. I absolutely want them to sign Soto, but you got to focus. The main priority now is to focus on starting pitching. The Soto extension will come. You got to get starting pitching and bullpen. That's more important than giving him.
But Caputo,
nobody is signing right. Excuse me, Ruben. Nobody is signing right now. You got. Yeah. You're not wrong, Michael.
You're not.
What you're not understanding is the climate that we're in right now. This is an unusual situation. Nobody's rushing to sign, put paper on, pen on paper to sign any contracts. That's what we're all dealing with, and that's where everybody's frustration is coming from when it seems like the Yankees aren't doing anything. Nobody's doing anything. I mentioned earlier the Boris factor. Everybody's also watching Boris. So I'm sure that even though Boris is the name that everybody is associating this delay with, everybody else is like waiting in line.
Yeah.
They're waiting in line to see what Boris can get for his clients, and then they're going to all come flooding in.
And check this out real quick, and I'll throw it over to Ruben to get his take. Check this out real quick. Since the Yamamoto signing with the Dodgers, the top pitchers that have signed with teams have been Frankie Montas and Lucas Giolito.
I was going to tell you, there's no great pitchers.
Those are no, but what I'm saying is Montgomery hasn't signed. Right, yeah, Blake Snell hasn't signed. Burns hasn't been traded. Sean Bieber hasn't been traded. Hayden hasn't been signed. So that's what I'm saying. Even like Joel said, even with Yamamoto signing, since Yamamoto signed, no one has signed. The biggest names that have signed has been Frankie Montas and Giolito, who teams have overpaid for. You're not gonna tell me. Hold on. You're not gonna tell me that you would have been comfortable with the Yankees giving Frankie Montas $16 million a season. You would have been comfortable with that?
Hell no, I don't want Frankie Montas.
You would have been comfortable with the Yankees giving Lucas Giolito $20 million. Exactly. Go ahead.
I was just going to tell you, I don't like the free agent market for pitches. That's why I want to do via trade, because those guys are better. And look, I know you got to give up a long haul, but I actually would take Shane Bieber out of all those pitches. Call me crazy, but I think Shane Bieber is the way to go too.
I'm right there with you, Caputo. I'm right there.
I agree with that.
And until the Yankees lose out on Shane Bieber to the Baltimore Orioles, I'm not ready just to hit the panic button yet. I'm still going to be optimistic. I'm still going to sit back.
Blake Snell. I don't like Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery. I don't want a reunion with him because, first of all, Jordan Montgomery is not a number one. He's a number 3, and you need it like a dominant number 2 after Garrett Cole. And that's what we need. Montgomery
wants $25 million a season. Do you want to give Jordan Montgomery $25 million a season?
Also, have you heard the rumors that
I know Ruben does. Have you heard
the rumors? Hector, have you heard the rumors that
what happened?
His wife moved to Boston. She has
it's not a rumor. It's a fact.
It's not a rumor. It's a fact. She has a residency with a hospital in Boston.
At Harvard.
All right. Yeah. Let me chime in real quick.
Go ahead, Rubes. Go ahead. And then we're gonna get ready to start wrapping things up.
I need to go, Hector. Guys, thanks a lot. I appreciate
Joe.
Again.
I appreciate you like always. You already know open door policy. Happy New Year to you, my guy. Looking forward to more conversations.
And everybody in the chat. Talk to you later.
Enjoy Texas, my guy.
But yeah, so when it comes to the starting pitcher market, bro, it's gonna be slow because you got teams trying to figure out what the prospect package is gonna look like. Because remember, not all these discussions have been happening from the trade deadline when it comes to Bieber and all these other guys. Because Bieber at that time was actually hurt. His health was completely a mystery at that time. He came back at the end of the season. So in that aspect, that's already an issue in itself. Then you got Burns, who's already come out basically saying, I'm not going to extend unless if you really pony up the money, but I'm really not considering an extension. So a lot of teams are also thinking that, like, if we trade for him, we might not even be able to extend him before he even becomes a free agent. So there's a few different things you got to look at. Now, when it comes to Montgomery, he's not a number one. He's not a number two. But if you look at it, look at Andy Pettit. Andy Pettit was never a 1 or a 2. Andy Pettit was a solid number 3 who performed in the postseason and leveled up his game in the postseason. What you need is reliability and guys that are willing to perform. Not every number 1 is going to perform in the postseason. Look at Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw has always underperformed in the postseason. So when it comes to Jordan Montgomery, I'll take him. Because you know he's going to post every 5 days, earn his money, and then on top of that, he's going to go and pitch in the postseason. And he's going to level up his game. The only reason why Montgomery's looked at the way he's looked at is because Boone mismanaged him. Because he would go and take him out with 80 pitches in the 6th inning after he's been pitching well, just because he let one base runner into the game in the last inning that he's pitching in, rather than letting him work it out, go to the 7th inning. So the problem is, like with Montgomery, people they look at him and say, "Oh, he's not like a guy that we need." Actually, you can make the case that if you slide in Montgomery, regardless of the fact that we got 3 lefties in the rotation, all that matters is that your pitchers are good. You don't need to have 3 righties to balance out the lefties because there's more right-handed hitters. As long as your pitcher is good, it doesn't matter if they're lefty or righty. What you need to make sure is that they're actually performing and actually are showing up every 5 days. Montgomery would do that at $26 million. I pay him that in a heartbeat because you know that he's actually going to show up versus going and paying a Giolito who shows up but he doesn't perform.
Yeah, and to your point, like you said, number ones don't always show up and perform in the postseason. You brought up Clayton Kershaw. Perfect example as a number 1 that doesn't show up in the postseason. Another one is a legend and a Hall of Famer, Greg Maddux. Greg Maddux has horrible numbers in the postseason. Was never able to even to pitch out the 5th inning in the postseason. Another one that you can name, Johan Santana, didn't have great numbers in the postseason. That's another guy that he'll give you 6 or 7 innings, but he's giving up 4 or 5 runs a start. Another one, former Yankee, who he had a couple of great games in the postseason, but when you look at his numbers overall, Roger Clemens, his numbers, he didn't have amazing eye-popping numbers in the postseason. He had a couple games sprinkled here and there, but when you look at Roger Clemens' overall work in the postseason, that's nothing to write home about. So yeah, I see your frustrations, Caputo. Go ahead, Rubes, and I want to throw it over to Jonathan before we get ready to shut it down. Jonathan, Happy New Year's, my guy.
Happy New Year, Jonathan. But real quick, Jonathan. Let me finish this other part, and then really quick on the money side, dude. Don't look at the $1 billion. The $1 billion doesn't matter. The total money, like again, it's about budgeting. The Yankees didn't come in with the same budget in the offseason. They were already at 230 once you include all of the contracts they had, the arbitration, all that stuff. So when it comes to the money side of it, it doesn't matter what they paid in total. At the end of the day, is what is your current roster of what you're paying, and what is the AAV on each contract. So we were willing to add a Yamamoto. We were doing it. He wanted the Dodgers. He didn't want us.
I know he didn't want to come. Yeah.
So and then on top of that, like we offered him $30 million per year. We're offering the money. Yeah. So we offered him $30 million. They offered 27 over 12 years. We offered 30 over 10, and it's front loaded. So at the end of the day, it's not about the total money. I don't care about spending $1 billion or $500 million. It's about what are you paying them per year, and does it fit your current team, bro? We don't have the payroll right now is at 230. They started at 165.
Oh, Hector.
And then on top of that, it's $2 million for Ohtani. So like it's only $2 million for Ohtani with the 165. Of course, they're adding a whole bunch of contracts, bro. They let the last 2 years they didn't sign nobody besides Freddie Freeman.
I
But yeah,
want
I'm
to
done.
shout out. I want to highlight a few
Right.
chats real quick before I throw it over to Ruben. I want to shout out my guy Ronald Hansley Jr. in the building. Ronald, how you doing, my guy? Stanton's still gonna suck. Shrug. Yes, Ronald. I feel you when it comes to Giancarlo Stanton. My guy Truth always says Hector should have a voicemail. Listen, I know other channels like my guy Pete has a voicemail. I know Grace and Gio, they have a voicemail on our channel. I may do a voicemail during the season because we're gonna have a new post game show over here. So Monday through Friday, just so you guys know, Monday through Friday over here on the Morning Brew Sports, myself and my brother, Mr. Jigga Man Porto, we will be doing a Yankees pregame from 6 to 7, an hour before the Yankee game start. You guys are going to want to really watch that. We're working on to make it super fun and very interactive. But no, Truth, yeah, I appreciate you when it comes to that. My guy Dr. Hitskins, I want to also put it out there. My guy Dr. Hitskins won one of the giveaways that we had this past Thursday's episode on Yankees Morning Brew with my guy Frank Luna. But Dr. Hitskins, he wanted to re-gift that gift to the community. So what we're going to do this Thursday, we'll have another giveaway. We'll have another duck race from the gift that Dr. Hitskins won. We'll put it up for one of you guys to win it. Dr. Hitskins, I appreciate you. Salute to you, my guy. Jonathan, I want to throw it over to you to get your thoughts. Sorry that you joined the conversation late. We're going to start wrapping it up. I got to get out of here by 9 o'clock. So, Jonathan, make it as short and sweet as possible. And then I want to throw it back to Caputo for his last words. And then we got to get out of here. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Yeah, I'm sorry I came late. I had to get out of the city in a hurry. But I think the Yankees just need another more starting pitching. Right now I don't know exactly where they get it. Honestly, I would think the minor leaguers are the first thing they check out.
Okay. Caputo, I want to throw it over to you. Want to get your last words. I know the conversation got a little bit heated and emotional. Just know I love you. Ruben loves you. Jonathan was late, but he still loves you. Okay, Caput? What's your thoughts, Caputis?
No, I just want them to get starting pitching, and I want like a great pitcher because you have to understand something too. Rodon and Cortez are question marks going into the season too with these injuries. And no, I don't want Jordan Montgomery. I want one of those pitchers in a trade. Blake Snell, I don't want because Blake Snell, I don't like his attitude, and I don't know if he'll fit in New York. So I agree on the Blake Snell thing. I don't want him. And as far as a closer goes, I want Josh Hader. I don't like Jordan Hicks. I won't be happy with Jordan Hicks and Montgomery to end this offseason. I'm going to be very, very like displeased. And Luis Castillo and Gilbert, I heard are off the table now. From what I just found out they're off the table. So that was all smoke
earlier. Mm-hmm.
That was all like fake news.
Yeah, that's all that was. Go ahead, Jonathan. I throw it over to you, and then I'm
the only time the Yankees had an opportunity to get a guy like Castillo is early on, many years ago, when they had a chance to trade Torres. Mm-hmm. That was the only time they ever had a chance to get
right before 2020.
Yeah, that was 2020. Yep.
Yeah, and last offseason the Yankees
pulled the trigger. They needed starting pitching, and they should have pulled the trigger.
And last offseason, the Yankees had an opportunity to get Logan Gilbert from the Seattle Mariners, and they just couldn't pull the trigger. They didn't want to give up Everson Pereira.
Prospect hugging. That's one thing they've been bad at.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. But, fellas, I do appreciate you guys. Caputo and Jonathan, I'm going to just let you guys go while I got my guy Ruben still here. Ruben, my brother, happy 2024. Thank you so much for taking time out today. Make sure to catch us next Tuesday. Eldon Sicario should be back with us. Ruben, what is your last words for the people in the chat before we get out of here, my guy?
Yankees go crazy. Do what you got to do to get more pitchers. Give me Montgomery and Bieber. Give me both.
There you go. My guy trying to be a little bit greedy for the day of the Three Kings. There you go.
Bro.
No, but guys, we are sitting on 90 likes for the stream. We got over 100 people in the building. If you haven't smacked that like button, hit the like button for you guys. Like I said, we are 10 likes away from 100, and we are sitting at 2,494 subscribers. We are 6 subscribers away from 2,500. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button for your boys. But like always, I'm your guy Hector from Morning Brew Sports, and this is my guy Ruben from NYY News. Make sure you guys go and follow them over there. Make sure you guys go and follow Felix. Shout out my guy Don Sicario and Ruben for always holding it down, putting out great content. But until next time, it's deuces. Peace.